That night he said he needed me. You'd understand if you trusted me, she said calmly, still wearing the same clothes from the night before after sleeping at her ex's on our anniversary. I didn't argue. I packed, slipped the ring into my pocket, let her see it, and walked out forever. 3 years. That's how long we'd been together when Harper decided our anniversary meant less than her ex's problems. I'm a structural engineer. I spend my days calculating load-bearing capacities and stress points. I deal in facts, numbers, things that don't lie. So, when I planned our 3rd anniversary dinner, I approached it the same way I approach a blueprint, methodically, 8 months of overtime shifts, 8 months of skipping lunches and bringing coffee from home instead of buying it. All to save up for the ring sitting in my sock drawer, $8,500. Custom band, conflict-free diamond, the exact style she'd pointed out 2 years ago in a jewelry store window. I had it all planned. Candles on the dining table, the expensive ones that smell like vanilla and cedar, not the cheap waxy ones. A bottle of Chianti from that vineyard we visited last summer. Her favorite pasta carbonara, the recipe I'd finally perfected after 6 failed attempts. I even cleaned the grout in the bathroom tile because she always mentioned wanting to do it but never had time. By 8 p.m., everything was perfect. Table set, candles lit, food warming in the oven. By 9 p.m., I'd texted her twice, no response. By 10 p.m., the candles had burned down an inch and the pasta was getting cold. At 11:59 p.m., my phone buzzed. Harper. Jason needs me. Emergency. Don't wait up. Jason. Her ex-boyfriend from college. The one she swore was just a friend now. The one whose name still showed up on her phone more than mine some weeks. I stared at that text for 5 full minutes. Read it over and over looking for some context I was missing. Emergency. What kind of emergency takes you away from your anniversary without a phone call? Without an explanation, I turned off the oven, blew out the candles, drank half the bottle of Chianti alone on the couch while refreshing my phone every 10 minutes like an idiot. No follow-up text, no call, nothing. I didn't sleep, just sat there watching the city lights through our apartment window, doing mental calculations. 3 years together, 1,095 days. Not one of them had she ever just disappeared until tonight. The sun came up at 6:14 a.m. I watched it through bloodshot eyes, still sitting on that couch. At 8:04 a.m., I heard her key in the lock. The door opened and there she was. Harper, my girlfriend of 3 years, the woman I'd been planning to propose to in 6 hours over brunch at that cafe where we had our first date. Her hair was a mess. Not morning after good sleep messy. Morning after crashing on someone's couch messy. Her shirt, my favorite green one on her, was wrinkled like it had been slept in. And the smell hit me from 10 feet away. Cologne, not mine. Something cheaper, heavier, the kind of scent that clings to furniture and clothes after a night of proximity, mixed with stale beer and cigarette smoke that had soaked into her jacket. She dropped her purse on the counter. Didn't meet my eyes. Hey. She said, casual like she'd just been at the grocery store. I didn't say anything. Just looked at her, really looked at her, calculating, measuring, the way she couldn't hold eye contact, the defensive set of her shoulders, the complete absence of apology in her posture. Jason needed me, she said, filling the silence, not explaining, justifying. It was serious. Still, I said nothing. Don't give me that look, she continued, voice edging toward irritation. He was in a bad place. I couldn't just ignore him. I stood up slowly. My body felt mechanical, like I was operating from somewhere outside myself, walked past her toward the bedroom without a word. Where are you going? She called after me. We need to talk about this. I opened the closet, pulled out my duffel bag from the top shelf, the one I used for work trips and weekend camping, unzipped it on the bed, and started packing. Jeans, shirts, socks, underwear. Each item folded and placed with the same precision I'd used setting the table last night. What are you doing? Harper appeared in the doorway, confusion finally cracking through her defensive facade. I didn't answer. Just kept packing. Talk to me. Harper's voice rose. Stop being passive-aggressive and just say something. I pulled open my dresser drawer, grabbed a handful of socks, then another. My toothbrush and deodorant went into the side pocket. I was operating on autopilot, but every movement was deliberate, calculated. This is ridiculous, she said, stepping into the room. I was helping a friend in crisis. You're acting like I committed some crime. I moved to the nightstand, unplugged my phone charger, wrapped it around my hand, tucked it into the bag. Jason was talking about hurting himself. Harper continued, her tone shifting to something practiced, rehearsed. He called me crying, said he couldn't be alone. What was I supposed to do? Call 911? I thought call me. Come home after an hour. Do literally anything except disappear for 8 hours without a word, but I didn't say it, just kept packing. You know what? Fine. Be childish. Her voice hardened. I stayed with someone who needed help. Someone who was self-destroying type. And you're punishing me for it like some. She stopped mid-sentence. I followed her stare. There on the dresser where I deliberately left it this morning after sitting up all night was the velvet ring box. Navy blue, small, unmistakable. The color drained from Harper's face like someone had pulled a plug. Her hand went to her mouth. She took a step toward the dresser, then stopped. Her eyes went wide, then wet. Is that? Her voice came out barely above a whisper. I grabbed the box before she could touch it. Held it in my palm, feeling its weight. 8 months of planning. 8 months of imagining the look on her face when I opened it. Not this look. Never this look. Oh my God. Her hand was shaking now. Were you going to? When were you last night? I said first words I'd spoken to her since she walked in over brunch. At the cafe where we met, her knees actually buckled. She caught herself on the door frame. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know you were planning. What difference would it have made? The question hung there between us. I watched her scramble for an answer that didn't exist. She started crying. Real tears this time, not the manipulative kind. I would have come home. I would have, but you didn't. I zipped up the duffel bag. You chose to stay with Jason on our anniversary without a call, without coming home. You made your choice. He's my friend. Her voice cracked. He was my first love. Okay. We have history. I couldn't just ignore him when he was. You didn't call 911. I said. You didn't text me updates. You didn't come home at midnight or 2 a.m. or even 6 a.m. You drank with him. You slept on his couch and then you walked in here smelling like him and acted like I was the problem for noticing. Nothing happened. She was shouting now. We just talked. He was crying and we had some beers and I fell asleep. That's it. Why didn't you come home? Silence. Why didn't you call? More silence. Why was being there for him more important than being here with me? Because he needed me. She screamed. He was falling apart and he needed me and I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't think about the stupid dinner. Stop. My voice came out flat. Dead. Just stop. She was breathing hard. Mascara starting to run. You don't understand. You've never understood. Jason and I have this connection. It doesn't just go away because we broke up. When someone you love is in pain, someone you love, the words settled between us like shattered glass. Harper's face shifted. Realized what she'd said. That's not I meant love like we're friends. I picked up the ring box, slipped it into my jacket pocket, threw the duffel bag over my shoulder. This is insane. Harper moved to block the bedroom door. You're being insecure. Controlling. I was helping someone with their mental health, and you're making it about you. I looked at her, really looked at her. 3 years, 1,095 days. And in this moment, I saw clearly what I'd been too invested to see before. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she got caught. Sorry about the ring. Sorry about the consequences. But she'd do it again. Next time Jason called. Next time he needed her. I understand perfectly. I said, you chose him. I'm choosing me. I stepped around her. Wait. She grabbed my arm. Where are you going? You can't just leave. We need to work through this. I pulled free, kept walking toward the front door. You're throwing away 3 years over one mistake. Her voice climbed higher. Desperate now. Don't you love me? I stopped. Hand on the door knob. Didn't turn around. I did. I said. Then I opened the door and walked out. Behind me, Harper's screaming turned into sobs. But I was already down the hallway, duffel bag on my shoulder, ring box in my pocket, walking toward an uncertain future that was somehow clearer than the past I was leaving behind. I drove around for 20 minutes before I realized I had nowhere to go. My car just moved through intersections, past familiar streets, operating on muscle memory while my brain processed what the hell had just happened. Eventually, I pulled into a hotel parking lot off the interstate. Nothing fancy, just clean and anonymous. The clerk didn't ask questions when I checked in at 9 a.m. on a Sunday with nothing but a duffel bag and the kind of face that says don't ask. Room 203, 2 double beds, generic art on the walls. The smell of industrial cleaning products. I dropped the bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed. Then I pulled out my phone. 47 missed calls. All Harper. I scrolled through the texts that had come in during my drive. Watched the progression in real time. Harper, please come back. We can talk about this. Harper, I'm sorry. I should have called. I know that now. Harper, you're right, I messed up. Just come home and we'll fix this. Then about 15 minutes later, the tone shifted. Harper, you're being dramatic. People help their friends. That's normal. Harper, I can't believe you're punishing me for being a good person. Harper, this is exactly why I went to Jason. You make everything about you. I blocked her number. Didn't respond to a single message. Just blocked it and felt something in my chest loosen. Monday morning, I showed up to work at 6:30 a.m. Earlier than usual, but I'd been up since 4 anyway. Couldn't sleep. Didn't want to sleep. Just wanted to calculate something that made sense. I buried myself in load-bearing calculations for the Riverside Tower project. Numbers don't lie. Physics doesn't gaslight you. If a support beam can't handle the stress, it fails. Simple. Clean. Honest. My boss. Gerald. No. Wait. My boss Franklin stopped by my desk around 10 a.m. You good? He asked, holding a coffee mug that said, World's Engineer. Yeah, I said. Why? You've been staring at those structural diagrams for 3 hours without moving. Either you found a major problem or you're having a major problem. I almost laughed. Just focused. He studied me for a second. Well, keep that focus. I'm assigning you lead on the downtown tower project. Mitchell's retiring next month and I need someone who can handle the complexity. You interested? Lead structural engineer. The promotion I've been working toward for 2 years. Yeah, I said. I'm in. Good. We'll talk details Wednesday. He walked away, then turned back. And hey, whatever's going on, don't let it eat you. Channel it. Best work I ever did was right after my divorce. That week became a routine. Wake up at 5 a.m., gym by 5:30, protein shake, shower, work by 7 a.m., focus until 6 p.m. Ride my old Yamaha along the coast until dark. Meal prep, sleep, repeat. My phone stayed quiet. Harper was still blocked. I blocked her social media, too. And her email went straight to trash. Then Destiny called. I didn't recognize the number, so I answered. You're a real piece of crap. You know that. Her voice came through sharp and angry. Harper's best friend. Should have seen that coming. Destiny, don't. You abandoned her when she needed you most. She made one mistake and you threw away 3 years like it was nothing. She's devastated, crying every day, can't eat, can't sleep. She made her choice. I said she helped a self-destroying friend. You're punishing her for having empathy. She spent our anniversary with her ex-boyfriend and called me insecure for being hurt. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just done. You're cruel. Destiny spat. She loved you. Then she had a funny way of showing it. I hung up. Blocked that number too. 2 weeks after I left, my buddy Greg texted me. We'd been friends since college. Played basketball on Thursdays. Grabbed beers occasionally. Good guy. Honest. Greg, dude, need to tell you something. Jason moved into your old place. I stared at that text for a solid minute. Me? What? Greg ran into Harper at the grocery store. She was buying groceries with him. He's staying there. She said he needed somewhere to recover after his crisis. Me? How does she even afford rent with him there? Greg, she's paying his share and apparently cooking for him, cleaning up after him. She thinks she's being noble. Dude, you dodged a nuke that night. I listed the ring online, uploaded photos, wrote a detailed description, priced it fairly, sold it within 6 hours to a guy proposing to his girlfriend next month. Got $8,500 transferred to my account. The next morning, I walked into a motorcycle dealership and put that money down on a Ducati Monster 821 black and red. The bike I'd wanted since I was 23, but never bought because Harper said motorcycles were a waste of money and dangerous. I rode it off the lot at 11 a.m., engine rumbling between my legs, whined in my face, and felt more free than I had in 3 years. That evening, Greg sent another text. Greg, also. For your information, Jason's crisis was getting dumped by his girlfriend for cheating on her with some bartender. Harper's emergency was consoling a guy who got caught sleeping around. Thought you should know. I read it twice. Let it sink in. Harper had chosen a cheater's hurt feelings over our anniversary. Over us over 3 years. Then Greg sent one more message. A screenshot. Harper's Instagram story posted 4 hours ago. A photo of her and Jason on our couch, his arm around her shoulders, both holding coffee mugs. And there in Jason's hand was my favorite mug, the one with the structural engineering joke about moment of inertia that Harper had given me for my birthday. The caption read, real love means sacrifice. Broken heart emoji, sparkles emoji. I stared at that screenshot until my screen went dark. I deleted the screenshot without responding. 3 months later, I was a different person. Not in some dramatic, unrecognizable way, just clearer, sharper, like someone had wiped smudges off glass I didn't know was dirty. The promotion came through officially in late September. Lead structural engineer on a $12 million downtown tower project. 23 floors, mixed-use development, complex foundation work because of the soil composition. The kind of project that makes or breaks careers. He loved it. Every blueprint, every calculation, every site meeting, problems had solutions. Variables had values. Nothing was ambiguous. Weekends became sacred. I'd wake up early, throw on my riding jacket, and take the Ducati up the coast highway. Just me, the engine, and 100 miles of curves. No destination, just movement. The kind of meditation that comes at 70 mph with the ocean on my right and nothing but road ahead. I found a coffee shop near the office. Small place, exposed brick, actually. Good espresso. Started going there Saturday mornings with my laptop and blueprints, working in the corner booth while people came and went. That's where I met Elena. It was a Saturday in early October. I was 3 espressos deep into reviewing foundation specs when the line at the counter got loud, completely destroying the skyline. A woman's voice said, sharp with frustration. Who approved that monstrosity? The barista laughed. The one on 5th Street? Yes. It's like they asked an algorithm to design generic luxury condo and just built whatever it spat out. No consideration for the neighborhood character. The sight line's nothing. I looked up. She was mid-30s, dark hair pulled back, wearing a faded jacket with dirt on the sleeves, holding a rolled-up set of plans under one arm. The developer's brother is on the planning commission, I said without thinking. That's how it got approved. She turned, raised an eyebrow. You know this for a fact or you're speculating? I work in structural engineering. Word gets around. Landscape architect, she said, gesturing to her plans. And that building is going to create a wind tunnel that'll destroy every tree we planted in the plaza. But nobody asked us about that. They never do. She grabbed her coffee and instead of leaving, walked over to my booth. Mind if I see what you're working on? Professional curiosity. I turned my laptop so she could see the foundation drawings. She studied them for a second. Riverside Tower. Yeah. You worked on the landscaping proposal. Tried to. They rejected our design because it didn't maximize parking revenue. So now they're getting a concrete wasteland. She shook her head. I'm Elena, by the way. I stopped, realized I was smiling. Actually smiling. I'm the guy who thinks that 5th Street building is an eyesore, too. She laughed. It was a good laugh. Real. We talked for an hour about architecture, about the city's terrible planning decisions, about the development project in the Harbor District that was gentrifying out every local business, about traveling. She'd spent 6 months in Japan studying garden design. I'd done a semester in Germany studying bridge engineering. No games, no performance, just conversation. When she left, she wrote her number on my napkin. In case you want to complain about bad architecture again sometime, I texted her that evening. Meanwhile, according to Greg, Harper's life was imploding. I didn't ask for updates. Greg just provided them like he felt obligated to keep me informed about the disaster I'd escaped. Jason had apparently invited half his friend group to move into the apartment. Turned it into a crash pad. Broke the coffee table during some party. Stained the carpets, put holes in the walls. She's paying for everything. Greg told me over the phone one night. Rent, food, utilities. Jason's starting a business, so he can't contribute. What kind of business? Who knows? Some crypto thing. He borrowed $6,000 from her for startup costs. I didn't feel satisfaction hearing it, just nothing like hearing about a stranger's problems. She's in deep, Greg continued. Looks exhausted every time I see her. Lost weight, not in a good way. Why are you telling me this? Silence on the line. I don't know, man. Maybe I think you should know. Maybe I think it's karma. Maybe I just need you to understand you made the right call. I know I did. 2 weeks later, Greg sent one more update. Jason got caught in bed with another woman. Harper kicked him out, but the damage is done. Landlord's evicting her for lease violations and back rent. She's moving back to her parents' place. I read the text, felt nothing. Deleted it and went back to reviewing candle lever calculations. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number again. Hello. She made a mistake. Destiny's voice harder this time. More desperate. She knows that now. She lost everything. Jason destroyed her. You need to forgive her, Destiny. She's moving back home. She's 27 and moving into her parents' basement because of you. Because of me? My voice stayed level. I didn't invite Jason to live there. I didn't let him trash the apartment or drain her bank account. She made those choices. She was trying to help someone. She made a choice. I made mine. Don't call me again. I hung up, blocked the number. Went back to work. That Saturday, Elena and I met for dinner at a small Italian place downtown. Nothing fancy. Red checkered tablecloths, candles and wine bottles, the smell of garlic and basil. She told me about a project that fell through a client who wanted her to design a garden around a putting green. Like, sir, I studied ecological systems and you want me to help you waste water on vanity grass? I laughed. Actually laughed. The kind that comes from your chest and feels like releasing pressure you didn't know you were holding. She asked about my tower project. I told her about the soil complications, the foundation redesign. The client who kept asking if we could just add another floor like buildings were Lego sets. 2 hours passed like 20 minutes. Halfway through tiramisu, I realized something. Harper's name hadn't crossed my mind in days. Elena was telling a story about her professor in grad school. Gesturing with her fork, and I was just present, not thinking about what had happened 3 months ago, not carrying it with me. You okay? Elena asked, noticing I'd gone quiet. Yeah, I said, and meant it. I really am. 6 months after I walked out of that apartment, I'd settled into a rhythm that felt like mine. Saturday mornings were for coffee and coastline rides. Elena and I had made it a routine. Meet at the coffee shop at 9 a.m., grab espressos, then take the Ducati up to wine country. She bought her own helmet after the third ride. Dark blue. Said it matched the bike better than the loaner I'd been giving her. I got to the coffee shop at 8:50 a.m. Grabbed my usual corner table by the window. Checked my phone. Elena was running 10 minutes behind, stuck behind an accident on the interstate. Elena, order me an Americano. I'll be there soon. Don't leave without me. Me? Wouldn't dream of it. I was smiling at my phone when the door chimed and Harper walked in. I didn't recognize her immediately. It was the posture I noticed first. Shoulders hunched, head down. The kind of body language that's trying to take up less space. She'd lost weight, not the healthy kind from gym sessions and meal prep. The kind that comes from stress and skipped meals. Dark circles under her eyes, even from across the room. She was wearing clothes I'd never seen before. Cheaper. A faded university sweatshirt with a stain on the sleeve. Jeans that didn't fit right. She was halfway to the counter when she saw me. Froze mid-step. Her face went through about 5 different expressions in 2 seconds. Recognition, shock, fear, something that might have been hope. I kept my face neutral, took a sip of my espresso. She stood there for a long moment, clearly debating whether to pretend she hadn't seen me. Then she changed direction, walked toward my table like someone approaching a car accident they caused. "Hey," she said softly, stopped a few feet away, hands shoved in her sweatshirt pockets. Can we talk?" I gestured to the chair across from me. Didn't say anything. She sat down carefully like the chair might collapse under her. Kept her eyes on the table. "Nice day," she said, then winced at her own words. "Sorry. That's stupid. I don't know how to start this then." "Don't." She flinched, looked up at me. "You look good. Really good. New jacket." "Harper." I was wrong. The words came out in a rush about everything. Jason was a catastrophe. A complete disaster. You were right about him. About all of it. I stayed quiet, watched her fidget with the zipper on her sweatshirt. "He drained my savings," she continued. Her voice was shaking now. $6,000 for some business that never existed. Trashed the apartment. Got me evicted. I'm living with my parents now in my childhood bedroom. At 27, I heard her eyes snapped up. "From who?" "Doesn't matter." She deflated. "Right. Of course. Everyone probably knows. Everyone probably thinks I'm an idiot." "I don't think you're an idiot." Something like hope flickered across her face. "You don't. I think you made choices. Those choices had consequences. That's not idiocy. That's just life." The hope died. She bit her lip. "My credit's ruined. I'm working 2 jobs to pay off the damage he caused. Can't even afford my own place anymore." I took another sip of coffee. Let the silence stretch. "He cheated on me. You know," Harper said, voice barely above a whisper, "with 3 different women while I was paying his rent, while I was cooking his meals and cleaning up after him and believing his lies about starting a business." "I know. How do you?" She stopped, shook her head. "Greg, right? Greg told you." I didn't confirm or deny. Harper looked out the window. Her eyes were wet. "I miss us. I miss my best friend. You were my best friend for 3 years and I threw that away for someone who never gave a damn about me. Harper, can we try again?" She looked at me now. Direct eye contact for the first time. "I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve a second chance. But people make mistakes. People learn. I've changed. Have you?" "Yes. I swear. I understand now what I did to you. To us. I was so stupid. So blind. I thought I was being a good person, helping Jason, but I was choosing chaos. You said that when you left. You were right." She reached across the table. Her hand was shaking. Stopped a few inches from mine. "I'm not asking to get back together right now," she said. Can we talk like friends? Can we try to rebuild something? Anything?" I looked at her hand. Didn't move mine. "Try what again, Harper?" "Us. Our friendship. The relationship we had. I know it'll take time. I know I have to earn your trust back. But we had something real. 3 years doesn't just disappear. It can't. It did. The night you chose Jason over our anniversary. One night." Her voice broke. "One mistake in 3 years in you. It wasn't one night. It was every excuse after. Every time you called me insecure. Every time you made me the villain for having boundaries. I was wrong about that. Too. I see that now. I'm apologizing. I'm trying to make this right." The door chimed again. I glanced up instinctively. Elena walked in, sunlight streaming behind her, helmet under one arm. She saw me immediately and smiled. The kind of smile that reaches your eyes and means it. Walked directly to the table without noticing Harper's posture, the tension, the fact that my expression had shifted from neutral to something softer. She leaned down and kissed my cheek. "Natural. Easy. Sorry I'm late. Babe. Traffic was. She stopped. Noticed Harper for the first time. Noticed Harper's hand still extended across the table toward mine. Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting something? Harper's face crumpled. No, I said, looking at Elena. We're just finishing up. Elena's eyes moved between us, reading the room. She was smart, could probably piece together who Harper was from context alone. Elena, I said, this is Harper. Harper, this is Elena. Harper pulled her hand back like the table had burned her, stood up awkwardly, forcing something that might have been a smile. Hi. Elena shook her hand. Brief, Polita, nice to meet you. The silence stretched for 3 painful seconds. I'll grab our coffees, Elena said, squeezing my shoulder. Give you 2 a minute. She walked to the counter, but I could see her watching us in the reflection of the pastry case. Harper sat back down heavily. Stared at me. You moved on. 6 months isn't moving on fast. It's just time you weren't part of 6 months. She repeated that fast. 3 years together and you replaced me in 6 months. I didn't replace you, Harper. I just stopped waiting for you to choose me. Her voice dropped. You said you loved me. I did. Asked tense. Yeah. She pressed her palms against her eyes. Shoulders shaking. When she spoke again, her voice was raw. You replaced me like I was nothing. Like 3 years meant nothing. You know that's not true. Then why? She looked up, tears streaming down her face. Why does she get the version of you that I wanted? The one who smiles like that. Who calls someone babe? I never got that. Yes. You did. For 3 years. You just didn't notice until it was gone. Harper's breath hitched. This isn't fair. No, I agreed. It's not. But neither was smelling your ex's cologne on our anniversary and being called insecure for caring. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I told you I was sorry. You told me you were sorry you got caught. Sorry about the consequences. But you weren't sorry for what you did. You defended it. You made me the villain. I was confused. No. I leaned forward, kept my voice level. You weren't confused. You were clear. You chose Jason. You chose helping him over showing up for us. You chose his crisis over our anniversary. You chose chaos. And you chose to give up on us. Her voice rose. Other people in the coffee shop were starting to look. One mistake. It wasn't one mistake, Harper. It was one decision followed by 100 excuses. You didn't destroy us that night. You did it with every justification after. Every time you called me controlling. Every time you told me I should understand. Every time you made Jason's pain more important than mine. She reached across the table again. This time she managed to touch my hand before I pulled it away. Please, she whispered. I know I hurt you. I know I was wrong. But don't I get a chance to fix it? 3 years has to count for something. It does count. It taught me what I won't accept anymore. So that's it. You just walk away after everything we built. You walked away first on our anniversary. When you chose him, I just had the sense not to chase after you. Harper was crying openly now. What if I had come home that night? What if I'd made a different choice? Then we'd be having a different conversation. But you didn't. You chose and I get to choose, too. I pulled out my phone, showed her the lock screen. A photo from 2 weeks ago, me and Elena on the Ducati pulled over at a scenic overlook. Both of us laughing at something. The ocean stretching out behind us, her arms wrapped around my waist. Both of us looking genuinely, completely happy. This is what choosing myself looks like. Harper stared at the photo. I hope she's worth it. She doesn't have to be worth it. She just has to be honest. Elena was walking back with 2 coffees. I could see her reading the situation, timing her approach. Harper stood up, wiped her face with her sleeve. I really did love you, you know. I know, I said, but love isn't enough when someone keeps choosing other people over you. I miss my best friend, she said softly. Your best friend died when you smelled like Jason's cologne and told me I was the problem for noticing. She nodded slowly, defeated, looked at me one more time like she was trying to memorize something she'd already lost. I'm sorry for all of it. I really am, I know. Can I ask you one thing? I waited. Are you happy? I looked at Elena, standing by the counter, giving us space, but ready when I needed her. Thought about the Ducati parked outside, the promotion, the tower project, the weekend rides, and the lack of drama, and the simple, uncomplicated peace of knowing someone chooses you every single day without being asked. Yeah, I said. I really am. Harper's face crumpled one more time. She nodded. Didn't say goodbye. Just turned and walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. Elena came over, sat down the Americano, sat in the chair Harper had vacated. You okay? Yeah, she studied my face. That was her. The ex? Yeah. She wanted you back. Yeah. Elena sipped her coffee. Didn't push. Just waited. I meant what I said. I told her. I'm happy. She smiled, reached across the table and took my hand. Good. Now finish your espresso. We've got 90 mi of coastline and an entire day of not thinking about exes ahead of us. 20 minutes later, we were on the highway. Elena's arms around my waist, her helmet pressed against my shoulder blade, the Ducati's engine thrumming between my legs, wind in my face, ocean on my right, nothing but open road ahead. I thought about Harper walking out of that coffee shop, back to her parents' basement, carrying the weight of choices she couldn't take back. I thought about the ring that was meant for someone who never appreciated what she had until it was gone. I thought about the 3 years I'd spent building something with someone who dismantled it in one night and spent the aftermath blaming me for noticing. And then I stopped thinking about it at all, because the best revenge isn't elaborate. It isn't about watching someone suffer or making them pay. It's about building a life so good, so peaceful, so honest that their chaos can't touch it anymore. Harper chose chaos that smelled like her ex's cologne and tasted like cheap excuses. I chose peace that sounds like a Ducati engine and looks like a future I'm actually excited for. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to be strong enough not to chase after it. I accelerated into a curve. Elena's grip tightening around me and felt the past shrink in the rear-view mirror until it disappeared completely. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.